Buenos dias, muchachos y muchachas. Would you take a look at that? Behind me here is a beautiful, fantastic park right in the middle of Mendoza. Probably Argentina's best park, I would say. This is massive park. There's 2 football stadiums in the park I've seen. There's this lake here. There's a guy playing music over there. There's like little squares within the park itself. People are chilling, having a great time. It's a Saturday, sorry, midday Saturday today. People are out. There's even people here in the lake. Can you see that over there? Swimming, training or participating, I don't know, for what must be a triathlon of some sort. This park is fantastic. Thanks to everybody who recommended me coming here. This is beautiful. Hola. ¿Es como un triatlón? ¿O es entrenamiento? O...
Es una competencia solo de natación, no triatlón.
Competencia de natación.
Claro.
Wow. Es larguísimo.
Sí,
hasta el fondo.
Ahí vas a ver las bolas.
¿Cuántas vueltas tienen que hacer?
Estos hacen 2.
2 vueltas.
2 vueltas.
¿Cuánto es? ¿2 kilómetros?
1500.
1500. Wow.
Y ahora también compiten 3000.
¿Cómo?
3000 también compiten.
3000 igual. Wow. Eso es 4 vueltas.
Claro.
¿Quién es el líder? ¿Dónde está el líder ahorita?
No.
En otro lado.
Ya debe estar volviendo. Es una chica.
¿Una chica? Wow. Fuerza para ella.
Sí.
Vale. ¿Y tú eres el, ¿cómo se dice? Referee. Juez.
No, guardavidas.
Ah, ok.
Por si alguno se lesiona o algo, los ayudamos todos.
Ah, ok.
Los que están en el agua también.
Sí. Que es largo el tiempo, ¿eh?
Sí.
¿Cuánto tiempo lo termina?
Es indistinto. Bueno,
¿Una
la
hora?
Primera, no.
¿Menos?
Minutos.
¿Minutos?
Sí.
3000 metros.
Sí.
10 minutos.
Pueden hacer,
15.
no, un poco más quizás. Depende de la competencia, el nivel de competencia que estén.
Vale. Ok, gracias. So there you have it. It's not a triathlon. It is simply just a swimming competition. 1.5 kilometers and 3 kilometers. Can you imagine that? Swimming 1.5 or 3 kilometers in a lake like this here. Wow. Some serious force. These people are gonna have some strength, I should say. I think this might be the leading lady here that's behind me here. She's got one. She's taped up, but she's quite fast compared to some of the other ones that I've seen here. Vamos! Vamos! Wow, that's beautiful. All right, I'm actually on my way to that stadium itself, called Islas Malvinas Stadium, or Estadio Islas Malvinas. I think that's the name, or Malvinas Argentinas, something like that. So let's go and find that stadium and yeah, check that out, and we'll talk about what the Malvinas are once we get there. Libera las Malvinas. This park just keeps getting better and better. Behind me here we have a handball field, and there's tennis over here on the other side, over there. Unfortunately, it's like a private club, so it doesn't seem like I can go in there and talk to them. But handball, for those of you who don't know, in Denmark handball is like the national sport. That is our thing that we're good at. I used to play handball as a kid. I was playing handball in the third, fourth tier, between the fourth and the third tier for youth handball in Denmark, between the age of like 10 to 15. That was my sport. We would train 3 times a week, 2 times of tactical training, and then once a week of physical training. We would run We would do all the physical running, push-ups, all the stretches, pull-ups with the weights, body weights, and our coach would push us. He would say, you have to run 5 kilometers in less than 25 minutes. That was sort of the goal. So that was some of the best years in my life, playing handball on a high, very competitive level. And then obviously in the weekend we would have a game somewhere in Denmark, playing other teams, playing other youth people. I played against some of the players that are now professional these days, back in Denmark, back in the Danish league. That's really, really cool. So yeah, handball is my sport that I'm actually good at. I love football, as you can see from the channel, and as we're going now to look for a football stadium as well. But handball is the sport that I'm actually good at. I'm way more physical. My technical skills are pretty much non-existent, which is why I can't play football. Also lately, since I'm over here in South America, I'm kind of thinking maybe rugby would be a fun thing to play, because I know the Argentinians are absolutely fantastic at rugby as well. I've never tried that sport, but it's kind of like a mix of football and handball. Like, it's very physical at the same time as it is a tactical, free-flowing game. So yeah, big fan of this park. Fantastic. Take a look at it here, like the trees, well kept grass. This is right up there with some of the best parks I've ever seen. Check it out. What a beautiful, beautiful setting for a stadium. Here we go. This is the stadium itself. It's built down, obviously, over here behind me. And the mountains in the background. Up there behind me in those mountains, we have the highest mountain, the tallest mountain in all of South America, called Aconcagua. This is the biggest mountain, as I say, in all of South America. Almost towering 7,000 meters above sea level. So this location is really, really gorgeous. Okay, you can't see Aconcagua itself, but just knowing that Aconcagua is right there. Let's see how far in we can get. It's strange that we have one of the important stadiums of the country, I think, because they literally had the Argentinian Football Cup championships here the other week. The final of the Argentinian Cup between Boca Juniors, Patronato and Talleres from Cordoba, 2 different teams. Take a look at it here. Isn't that gorgeous? We can literally just walk in. I see a door open right there. Let's go and take a look down there, inside the stadium itself. Look at it though. It's even got seats and everything. Usually the stadiums here in South America are not very modern, but this one actually looks quite new. And yeah, let's see if we can get inside the stadium, or if I'm gonna get stopped by some security person, and then we'll talk a little bit about what Malvinas and that whole story. There we go. Inside the stadium itself, behind the goal here. This is quite a big stadium. Look at that classic South American bowl shape of a stadium. That's cool. I didn't expect that. Yet again, we come through with the football stadiums here in Latin America, here in South America. Just completely open, go for a stroll. Wow. And you have the ditch in there, down there between the pitch and the fans themselves, so you can't invade into the stadium. A feature of many stadiums in Latin America, even in Italy. I think they've taken it from the Italians. They have that pitch or that ditch between to separate the fans not being able to run into the pitch itself. And yeah, up there on the board we have Islas Malvinas, or should I say the Falkland Islands, which is the English name for it. And that is what Islas Malvinas are. They are the Falkland Islands, or in Spanish, Islas Malvinas. You'll see this name if you come to Argentina, Islas Malvinas, in so many locations. Obviously the name of this stadium here is Estadio Malvinas Argentinas. They're basically saying the stadium of the Argentinian Falkland Islands, if you were to translate it into English, claiming the territory that is still in dispute after the war that the bitch that was Margaret Thatcher started back in the 80s. As far as I can tell, I'm not an expert on this subject, but the war was back in the 82, where it was, I think they lost the war in 82, because I've seen so many murals, paintings around Argentina naming specifically that year, 1982 to 2022, 40 years of hurt, or 40 years of being not listened to by the rest of the world. So Margaret Thatcher was in deep shit, simply to say it. As it is, she was losing popularity back in England at that time. Margaret Thatcher was a controversial for many president or prime minister of the UK. She's called in English the Iron Lady, la mujer del hierro, I guess you would call that in Spanish. And she would basically rule England with an iron fist, and she wouldn't listen to anyone from the opposition. She was a bit of a bitch. As a Liverpool fan myself, I obviously know about the Hillsborough tragedy much more so than about the Islas Malvinas, or the Falkland Islands, where she basically claimed that due to what's known now today, due to lack of security around the FA Cup semi-final on the Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield in 1989, there was a lack of security for that stadium, and the stadium was packed. Similar to here, you have a fence over there and you have a fence over here separating the back where the most hinchas are, the barras bravas, or the hooligans back in the day in England, the big fans. They were back there, but they filled it, overfilled it. No one could get out, and the consequence was that 86 people were stamped to death by their own fans, because no one was able to escape. And she covered that up, saying it was all violence by the fans, and only today has that been declared a false, a lie, a manipulation of propaganda from the government back in those days. So safe to say, I'm with Argentina on this one. Let's call it Islas Malvinas and not the Falkland Islands. And let's say Margaret Thatcher was more a bitch than someone to celebrate. Take a look at that stadium there. Wow. To think that the Argentinian Cup was played right here. The goal is right there. Here's that. Still have some of the, what do you call it, the confetti that the fans throw on the pitch. You still have it there. You have got a security camera over there as well. They haven't even cleaned it up. That's a bit strange. What a beautiful pitch. Que libera las Islas Malvinas. So yeah, didn't actually say there, I just realized I didn't finish the story. Margaret Thatcher, I got too emotional about what she did around Liverpool. Margaret Thatcher was in big trouble, in big shit, back in that time, the 82, 81, the 80s. UK was in financial crisis. She was losing popularity. And the Argentinians and the English were actually living both on what is the Falkland Islands today, or the Islas Malvinas, sharing the territory. No nation were claiming it more so than the other, but the English started overstepping their welcome, and the Argentinians that were living there were like, you can't do this. This is our place as well. It's not yours. You can't tell us the rules. It's between us, we share it. But the English started overstepping their welcome. And Margaret Thatcher saw that as an opportunity to take control of Islas Malvinas, to start a war. Because what's better if you're a struggling president than starting a war and reuniting your nation behind you as the strong leader? Does that sound familiar to you of what's happening in the world today? Just saying, but we'll let that one slide. Not part of this story. She gained with the objective of regaining popularity back in the UK. She was successful, managed to win that war as well. Obviously, England, UK being a bigger military force, they simply were able to basically say to Argentina, do you want to take this gunfight or not? Because we have more ammunition than you do. And unfortunately, the Argentinians had to back down. And as I said, I think it's about 82, because I saw all these murals around Argentina as I've been traveling that saying 82 to 2022, 40 years of not being listened to by the rest of the world around what is going on or what happened in the Islas Malvinas. What Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, or as some might say, the Witch of England, decided to do back in those days. So yeah, basically the war ended when the UK just were able to have more forces. Argentina didn't get any support. I know there's from any of the neighboring countries. Chile was not supporting Argentina. In this, Uruguay is a tiny country. They couldn't do anything anyways. And I'm not sure why exactly it is that everybody doesn't like the Chileans here. But I think that story has something to do with it. Here you can see the separation. Barbed wire fence from the fancy area. From the fancy area over here, we have a little in-between area. Then the fancy area where the commentators and all that are sitting. To the hinchas, the barras bravas. And there we have the stadium. And there we have the story of what is the Islas Malvinas and why you should call them, I don't know what you would call the Malvin Islands, maybe in English, rather than the Falkland Islands, and not call it the Falkland Islands. Islas Malvinas is the name of the stadium. Islas Malvinas Argentinas. So, will you have it? I was mistaken. I could get in on this side as well. Just had to go around the fence from over there, come back, and the door up here behind me is open. Or the gate, so to say. So we're literally at the fancy seat right here. We've got armrest and everything for the fancy people. The directors of the Patronato that won the league, or won the Argentinian Cup the other day, would be sat here having a beautiful view. And then over here we have as well got the coaches' benches. Would you look at that? And I see a bridge over there going over the little, what do you call them? Gully, I think you call it in English. The little ditch, that's the word. I forgot it there. Oh, would you look at that? Even on the fancy side of the stadium, you have some seats missing. Someone must not have been happy with the result someday, or one day in the history of this stadium. Wow. Let's see here. Take a look at this. It's connected. We can actually go through over to the pitch itself. Wow. And here's the bench, the substitute bench. Oh, they've been drinking chocolate drinks. Chocolate milk. That's not your sort of drink that you would have as a professional football. Literally here. So this is the seat right next to the pitch where the players are sitting. The substitutes waiting for their chance. The coach, Marcelo Bielsa, calls them up and he goes, "Hey, you, number 16, come here. Take a run, you're getting in." And you go here, you touch the little grass, the routine, and you run on the pitch and you score the final deciding goal of the Argentinian Cup or the league or whatever. I don't know actually if anyone from Mendoza is watching this video. Does Godoy Cruz play in this stadium? Because it doesn't say anything with Godoy Cruz, the local team from here in Mendoza. It doesn't say anything that would suggest to me that they play here. But wow, the pitch is really nice. Fantastic grass. Got a step in the middle here. Just take a look at it. It's actually not that big. I've been on bigger pitches, amateur pitches myself. Here we have the goal. You come running down and you just put it absolutely top ins from here, and it sails in. That's what Christian Eriksen is going to do in the World Cup when we beat everyone and win the World Cup. Vamos Dinamarca. Vamos Eriksen. Take a look at that stadium. What do my eyes see as I'm coming out from the stadium and almost about to leave the park? There's a lovely fountain over here behind us. There's a little market kind of area here. And there's a beer station. Let's see what they have. We have an IPL, and a Clásica. Hola.
Hola, buenas.
¿Qué es IPL?
Imperial Pale Lager.
Imperial.
Pale Lager.
Ah, el normal de la tienda, como
Claro, pero
Imperial,
tiene-
la marca argentina.
No.
No,
Es el
artesanal.
Ajá.
Ah, ok.
Pasa que no me queda, pero tiene casi 9% de alcohol.
No te queda. IPA tienes
¿Ah, sí?
y clásica.
Sí,
¿Y qué
también.
más?
Tengo Honey, Golden, Scottish, IPA. Podés probarla si quieres.
Ah, Scottish, ¿a cuánto está?
Como esto.
450 la pinta sola,
¿Cuánto era?
Ajá.
450 la lata,
Ajá.
o tenés
No vi
dos
cuando se te había
por 100.
requisitado, yo no vi.
Vale, solo uno.
Solo uno.
Scottish.
Scottish.
Sí,
Gracias.
Scottish, más me gusta ese estilo. Delicioso, ¿eh? ¿Qué es esto?
Maní saborizado.
Ah, maní. Y aquí tienes.
Esa es una cajita de regalo.
Ajá.
Y de aquel lado, no está. Pero también tenemos gorras.
¿Cuál?
Arriba, gorras.
Ah, gorras de tu cervecería. ¿Y de dónde hacen?
450.
¿De dónde hacen las cervezas? ¿Aquí en
De acá
Mendoza?
de Mendoza.
Luján de Cuyo.
Vale.
En Luján de Cuyo se hace.
Luján de Cuyo. Igual zona de vino.
Puedes visitar, claro, puedes visitar la fábrica igual.
Ajá. Vale.
450.
4.50. Buddy. Un momento. Opa. Ah. Cheers. What a beauty. This is yet another thing to absolutely love about Argentina. They are fantastic at beer. Craft beer in this country is absolutely next level. Not only wine. I know we're in Mendoza and we should be drinking wine, but I mean, when you're going through a hot day in the park and just right there you see a beer and even a craft beer stand, 450 pesos. You can't go wrong with that. Now, I got a dark, creamy, stout-like beer. Let's sit on this side, I think it's better. There we go. A dark, creamy, red ale slash stout. So let's give it a go. Ah. I tell you what, that goes very well on a hot sunny day like today. Right here in the park. What is it called? 23 Rios. Very nice beer. I absolutely like this on a sunny day. I'll finish this and then we'll leave the park and we'll go into the center and see what we can find in the center of the town. Buy a little bit of stuff probably for my dinner tonight. Or maybe we'll have a sandwich somewhere or something. Cheers. Salud. All right, finished the beer. It's safe to say that was beautiful. And now we're next to the fountain over here. This is another thing other than craft beer and wine that Argentina does absolutely beautifully. Take a look at this fountain here. We've got blue on the first water and white on the water from this statue right here, painting the color of the flag and the color of a nation, the color of Mendoza. Oh, there's these guys over here having fun. Hola. I think they're from a football team or something. ¿De dónde son?
Rosario. Where are you from?
De Rosario.
Rosario.
De Dinamarca.
¿Dinamarca?
Sí, sí, sí.
¿Copenhague?
No Copenhague, otro lugar, un ciudad pequeño.
¿Hablas bien en español?
Se llama, sí,
¿Entendés?
sí,
¿Entendés todo?
entiendo. Rosario, ¿equipo de fútbol o algo? No.
Sí. Rosario Central.
¿Cuál es eso? Rosario Central.
Rosario Central.
Este, a ver. Ay.
¿Vos qué equipo sos? De allá
De Dinamarca, Baile se llama.
Mirá qué bueno que está.
Y tiene su propia ciudad.
¿Qué?
¿Qué es eso? Rinocerontes. De África.
¿Estás solo acá?
No, mi novia está
Con otro.
aquí a la vuelta.
No, pensé que había hecho el viaje solo. ¿Que vivís acá o estás de...?
Estaba viviendo en Latinoamérica desde 2018.
¿Ah, sí?
Sí, por eso hablo español. Por eso hablo
Y sí, aprender.
¿Qué hacen ustedes? ¿Vacaciones?
No, vinimos un fin de semana de vacaciones.
Es lindo aquí, ¿no?
Sí, hermoso.
Vale.
Gracias. ¿Tu nombre?
Sebastián.
Sebastián. Hasta nombre argentino tenés.
Claro. Ten buen día.
Igualmente.
Disfruten su fin de. All right. Great guys. Out exploring, having a long weekend or something in Mendoza, coming from Rosario. And yeah, as I was saying, this flag is, or the fountain here is basically painting the flag from Argentina. White in the background and blue, light blue in the foreground. I think you can see it right there. Isn't that fantastic? Now, we're gonna go into the center, explore the city a little bit, maybe find another beer in one of these many interesting kiosk slash bars that they have on the corners of every street, or many streets here in Argentina. So let's go and check that out. Now we've done a very full trip of this park here. Check out the avenue leading in and out of the park. Isn't it lovely? We're back in town, back in the center. And here we have one of the fine kiosk bars. Classic Argentinian thing. Hola.
Buenas.
¿Vendes cerveza? Esas son tus mesas, ¿no?
Lo que quieras, amigo. Al
Este-
final, ahí está mi mesa. Y encima
¿Cuánto?
va a estar el estreno de mi videoclip.
Sí.
A todos voy a sacar un video de 3 minutos.
¿Cuánto vale tu cerveza?
La que quieras, amigo, depende cuál.
Normal.
¿Lata o birra grande?
Vidria, grande, negra.
Negra, me queda de origen.
Andes. Este, ¿no? ¿Cuánto vale? This one. ¿Cuánto vale esto?
4.80.
4.80.
Ahí traigo el vaso.
Por favor. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola.
All right.
Ya voy a comer la otra mitad del...
¿De este? Okay. Let's go. So this is a beautiful like culture here in Argentina. I love these little bars. So we have these shops here that are basically these kiosks, and then they are also a bar with literally people sitting down. They have their little promotions, happy hours and everything. Lots of life here on the streets, and you just sit, you have a little drink on your way through town, on your way through the city. It's beautiful. And they have, sometimes they even have food in these places. I guess the one over here next to us have food on it, on show. It seems like there's some commentary of a football game or something like that going on in the background. All right, I'm not quite sure. He said he was gonna come with some glasses. How the process works. But yeah, he's just selling stuff to someone else. Let's go and ask him. ¿Cómo se va? ¿Para pagar antes o
Antes
o
y
primero?
lo posible.
Vale. Ok. 4.80 dices.
4.80, maestro.
¿Y de dónde viene esa cultura del kiosco y bar en uno mismo cosa? Me encanta eso de aquí en Argentina.
¿Está piola? No sé, de siempre, supongo. Pero está bueno, boludo.
¿Puedes poner pausa un momento? Porque el que se ponga en YouTube...
Es mi tema.
Es tu tema, pero YouTube se va a demonetizar.
Sí, sí.
Vale, un momentito.
Perdón, no sé por qué te serví.
4.80 dijiste, ¿no?
¿Cómo salís, hermano?
¿Cómo?
¿Cómo salís en YouTube?
PilgArt Explores.
A ver, la mujer, ¿crees?
Sí. ¿Tú haces música?
Hago música.
Y al mismo tiempo...
Y por ahora estamos emergiendo, ¿no ves?
Ajá.
Nuevo gato.
¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Qué dice? ¿Mueve?
Ajá. B-Trip. B-Trip.
B-Trip.
Pero el internet acá...
¿Hace cuánto estás
Sí,
con
ya ves.
música? Haciendo.
Hace bastante, pero ahora me he puesto las pilas puestas.
Ay.
¿Cómo salís, amigo?
A ver, te pongo aquí.
Si el internet me acompaña algún día.
Let's see. Sí, me encanta esa cultura en Argentina que hay
150.
que hay los kioscos y al mismo tiempo
Sí, aparte tengo otra
que son bares.
¿De dónde venís?
De Dinamarca.
Suscripto, guacho.
Perfecto. Subscribe. Vale. ¿Esto?
Salud, esto es tuyo.
Ah.
¿Te serví sin querer? ¿Quieres que te sirva?
Sí, por
Bueno.
¿Y cuál es su nombre?
Benjamín.
Benjamín. Y este Godoy Cruz juega en el estadio de Andes de
Malvinas.
Argentinas.
No sé si juega ahora. No sé hasta cuándo te quedas tampoco.
O juegan en otro estadio.
No, juegan no juegan en su cancha.
¿En ese Malvinas estadio?
Juegan en la Malvinas Argentina.
Malvinas
Tienen su cancha,
Argentina.
pero no juegan en su cancha.
Ah, ok. Justo fuimos pasando el parque y todo. Fui pasando el parque.
¿Puede entrar? Creo que se puede.
Podía entrar en el estadio y dar una vuelta y todo.
Sí, boludo, está bueno.
No había nadie.
No, porque cuando juega gente ya.
No cuida mucho.
Nah.
Se veía todavía la gente, las cosas de la Copa, la final hace unas semanas, ¿no?
Ah, sí. Se pudrió acá. Estuvo bueno.
Sí.
¿Por dónde has pasado, amigo?
Entró desde Bolivia, así que por Salta y Tucumán y Córdoba.
¿La primera estación que hiciste, o sea, cuando saliste de Dinamarca, dónde partiste?
Oh, hace muchos años por eso, en Nueva Zelanda fui.
¿Hace muchos años?
Sí.
¿Cuántos años tenés?
27. Pero ya estoy viajando desde 2016.
Qué buena onda, amigo, manso.
Viví unos años en Bolivia, luego seguí viajando. Ahora estoy acá, probando la vida en Mendoza.
Tenés cuidado con Mendoza.
¿Por qué?
A la gente le encanta Mendoza, amigo. La gente...
Sí. A mí me encanta bastante igual.
O sea, lo que yo te digo, porque he visto mucha gente que viene supuestamente a pasar un rato y después no lo veo y dice más.
Y lo quedan
Y
2
se-
años, 3 años viviendo.
Y se quedan y los puedo ver en
Perfecto. Vale.
Salud,
Quería
hermano.
probar. Salud.
¿Vas a ver esto para afuera? Porque voy a ver el estreno.
¿Cómo? Ah. All right. So that is the story of why they have these bars and kiosks in one and the same thing. So let's give the beer a try. We got the Andes Origen, the black beer. Very nice. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I think this will be the end of the video here. I love these little bars. This life on the streets. These bar lives is fantastic. Salud.